The Bible is one of the most fascinating and mysterious books ever written. Its stories carry spiritual depth, life lessons, and mysteries that have intrigued humanity for centuries. One of the greatest enigmas is, who was Cain's wife, and where did she come from? To understand this question, we need to explore the biblical account, the historical context, and the theological interpretations surrounding this enigmatic figure, one of the most puzzling in the Genesis narrative. In the book of Genesis, we find the narrative of humanity's creation. God formed Adam from the dust of the earth and later created Eve as his companion. The Bible tells us that after being expelled from the Garden of Eden for disobeying God, Adam and Eve began having children. The first two mentioned by name in the biblical text are Cain, the firstborn, and Abel, the second son. This story is fundamental to understanding humanity's early context. The story of Cain and Abel is well known. Cain, consumed by jealousy, killed his brother Abel after God accepted Abel's offering and rejected his. After committing the first murder in human history, Cain was cursed by God and exiled to the land of Nod, east of Eden. It is at this point that the mystery begins to unfold. Who was Cain's wife, mentioned in the biblical text as the mother of his children, and where did she come from? In Genesis 4:17 we read, "And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch." The question many ask is, where did this woman come from? If Adam and Eve were the first humans, where did Cain's wife originate? To answer, we need to explore the main theories proposed by scholars over the centuries. The most widely accepted explanation among biblical scholars is that Cain's wife was one of his sisters, or possibly a niece. Genesis 5:4 tells us that Adam had sons and daughters throughout his life. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. While the account mentions only Cain, Abel, and Seth by name, this doesn't mean they were Adam and Eve's only children. Biblical authors often highlighted main characters to advance the narrative, leaving out details about other people. In humanity's early days, it was natural for siblings to marry to perpetuate the species. There was no other option, since all humans descended from the same original couple. Moreover, the initial genetics, according to this view, were pure and free from harmful mutations, allowing such unions without the genetic issues we associate with close relative marriages today. Another theory suggests that God may have created other humans besides Adam and Eve. Although the Bible focuses on the original couple, some scholars speculate that God could have formed other groups of people, but the text doesn't mention them because the primary goal of Genesis is to narrate the lineage that would lead to the Messiah, Jesus Christ. In this case, Cain's wife could have been one of these humans created by God. However, this theory is controversial. This theory is not widely accepted in traditional Christian circles because it contradicts the idea that Adam and Eve are the ancestors of all humanity. Others interpret Cain and his wife's story symbolically. For these interpreters, Genesis is not a literal historical account, but a theological narrative designed to convey spiritual and moral truths about God's relationship with humanity and the consequences of sin. From the symbolic perspective, the origin of Cain's wife does not need a literal explanation, as the story's focus lies elsewhere, to show the consequences of sin and God's mercy even in the face of human disobedience. Regardless of Cain's wife's identity, the story teaches us much about the early challenges humanity faced and the complexity of human relationships in a fallen world. Cain's murder of Abel reveals the devastating impact of sin on human relationships, inaugurating an era of conflicts that continue to this day. Additionally, Cain's journey to the land of Nod and the fact that he built a city indicate that humanity was expanding and beginning to organize socially. This suggests that Adam and Eve had many other descendants besides those mentioned by name in the biblical narrative. Many times, Bible readers encounter questions without explicit answers. However, it is important to remember that the Bible was not written to satisfy all our historical or scientific curiosities. Its primary purpose is to reveal who God is, His plan for humanity's redemption, and how we can have a relationship with Him. The case of Cain's wife is an example of this deliberate mystery left in Scripture. In the case of Cain's wife, the Bible's silence may be intentional. The story focuses on Cain's sin, God's mercy in marking him to protect him from harm, and the continuity of the human lineage that would eventually lead to Christ. Thus, Cain's wife's identity, while mysterious, does not diminish the spiritual and historical value of this biblical narrative. The story invites us to reflect on sin's impact on humanity, the importance of reconciliation with God, and the need to live according to His teachings. What do you think about this mystery? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know your ideas. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our next videos. See you next time.